Welcome back to Hi Guys, it's your boy BDR here and I'm back with another AQW's video, and today we're going to be doing a video about buffed Naval Commander. Naval Commander was one of the classes mentioned that got buffs, so yeah, increasing its farming, its debuffing, and also its base dodge according to the design notes. How to get this class, same thing as, last time I made a video about this class. For members, free. For non-members, 2 KACs. Alright then, let's go over the skills. On guard is the same. Now, strike and parry is still 8 mana, 6-second cooldown, physical, long range attack, 4 targets. Now it performs counter thrust, reducing your target's outgoing damage by 40% for 1 second. Also applies strike and parry, further reducing the outgoing damage by 30% for 10 seconds. So now, the strike and parry now reduces, damage by 30 instead of 20. Then we have our rank 2 skill, Flintlock Barrage, 10 mana, 6-second cooldown, long range, 4 targets. Now the mana cost has went from 15 to 10, and it no longer applies Flintlock Barrage. Now it applies Flintlock Wound, which reduces their damage resistance by 30% for 10 seconds. And the rank 3 pass in the rank 3 skill, Commander's Rally, is still 20 mana, 6-second cooldown, infinite range, up to 7 friendly targets. It has combined the Commander's Rally and Inspiration Auras. Now the Commander's Rally, duration is now 15 seconds instead of 10. Now the Commander's Rally outgoing damage buff has went from 8 to 15%. Also increased the HOT on the Commander's Rally. It also applies a stack of Armada to you and each ally, increasing the damage of all skills except on guard by 50%, stacks to 4. Also, your sidestep attacks with your sea legs increases your dodge by 30% for 1 second. Now they renamed, Commander's Dodge to Sea Legs. Your rank 4 passives, Broadside Blast now increases your crit chance by 20 instead of 10. Gust of Wind now increases dodge by 30%. Haste is still increased by 10. And then we have Flintlock Fury, no longer stuns, applies focus for 4 seconds, which forces your target to attack you for only you for the duration, 30 mana, 15-second cooldown, long range, 4 targets. And finally, for the rank 10 passive, Reinforced Hull, damage resistance increased by 50. So based on what we could gather here, it's just that this is really going to be a dodge farming class. With also they've, increased the debuffing and the support of the class as well. Alright then, let's move on to combos and enhancements. Alright people, so here's the build for, the Naval Commander. Pretty much the same soloing build as before. Valiant, it got, increased. Lucky, crit, Penitence for that, bulk. And Vim for, less mana consumption. Alright then, for your combo, what you want to do here is 4, 2, 3, and 5, and then just repeat that combo. It's just that, with this class, it really has become not gonna lie, the dodge is really there. Yeah, strike and parry, the multiple debuffs that it's getting. Valiant's also providing extra bulk as well. It's just oh so nice. Like we're barely taking any damage here. Damage wise, it's alright. Not really enough for soloing. Oh damn. Flintlock Rune, really just debuffing the enemy. Sea Legs increasing our dodge for 1 second. It's overall just increasing dodge, increasing the crit chance. That's what this class is all about. It's just, to really be a dodging, debuffing class. Sear, strike and parry, counter thrust. It's just oh so nice. Excuse me, what damage was that? That was a 17k crit right there. That's pretty nice. That's really nice. Focus, kind of like the mini taunt of the class. I miss the days when you could, Naval Commander taunt Champion Dracuf. Those were the good old days. Anywho, we're almost done here, and well, 17k crit again, and bam. 2 minutes, 670. Alright, in terms of soloing, this class can solo as it can be a dodge soloing class. It's just that you're going to take more time than other classes that are more meant to solo. Plus, its DPS is just not it to really be a soloer. But yeah, that's pretty much it for soloing. Alright, let's move on to farming. Alright, people, so in terms of farming, here's the build that we have here. Yeah, we swapped out Avarice for Penitence, to really get that haste. That will be, make farming, easier for us. So yeah. Combo is the same thing as the soloing portion of this video, so yeah, let's get started. It's just that in terms of farming, it really does its job. It's its main bread and butter as being a dodge, farmer. As well, basically, greatly debuffing the enemy. We have access to Valiance, which is giving us that extra bulk. And also, the fourth skill giving us a heal, increasing our dodge by 30%. Even if it's for 1 second, it's just, Plus, it being long range really makes it, a really great farming option to have here. And just seeing how we're just taking care of these mobs over here at Streamore is just pretty nice. Oh, to heal, have Valiance by your side. Definitely nice. Definitely does his job well at being a dodge farmer. Here it's like we're already at 46 already. Just woof. Damn, it's just the dodge is something else. Dodge is really something else. Man, just dodge, 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 dodge. And we're getting HP back. Yeah, this class can truly hold its own in farming. Farming is really its bread and butter. Okay, we're already at 80 kills right now. And yeah, we're gonna stop right there. 91 kills within 2 minutes. That's usually like around Archmage and or Legion Revenant level right then and there. It's just, yeah, in terms of farming, it's definitely gotten tremendously better at farming to the point you could definitely say that Heroic Naval Commander post buffs is like one of the best, farming options currently in the game. Because look at this, man. This is just it does its job well, excellently as a dodge farmer. It's just excellent dodge farmer. Definitely one of the best farming classes in the game. Alright then, let's move on to survivability. Alright people, so in terms of survivability, I mean, like I said, its dodge has been greatly improved thanks to the buffs it gets, Even though it's 30% for 1 second, it's still pretty nice. But in some situations, you are gonna fight the super hard-hitting bosses and they're not, and you may get caught lacking because it's like, once that 30-second, you know, dodge, like you see right there, goes off, it's kind of like it could just leave them wide open to just hit you with an attack, and you could just, go down in 1 to 2 blows. Dodge, dodge. There's the dodge right here. And yeah. So in terms of survivability, while its dodge has improved, it can still get caught lacking by the harder hitting bosses. Alright, let's move on to support and then final thoughts. Alrighty, so in terms of support, it offers debuffs, buffs, and HOT. So starting with, strike and parry, it now has access to counter thrust, which can reduce your target's outgoing damage by 40% for 1 second. And now strike and parry now reduces outgoing damage by 30 instead of 20. You have Flintlock Barrage, which still can, reduce the damage resistance by 30%. You have Commander's Rally, which is a 7-player, HOT, which increases the haste and outgoing damage by 15%, and now it lasts longer. Now it lasts 15 seconds, right there. And Flintlock Fury now has a force, still has that 4-second mini taunt. It's just a cooldown. All right, then. That's pretty much it in support. So in terms of support, it's still offering a bunch of, debuffs, and it has a longer HOT buff to 7 players. All right, then. The pros about Heroic Naval Commander is that, it's an excellent farmer, as you saw in the farming portion of the video. That's its bread and butter, to just be a a dodge farmer, and it works. It works excellently, excellently. It still has access to a 4-second mini taunt. It's still offering good support in buffs, debuffs, and the HOT, which now lasts longer and have gotten, better. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And also they increased the dodge of the class. So that's pretty much it for pros. Alright then. The cons about buffed Heroic Naval Commander is that, its dodge, while it is good, it isn't the best. There is a point in time where like you leave yourself open for hard hitting bosses, like, as you saw with the Imbuche, when that 30%, dodge is gone, it could just, go down in like 1 to 2 blows. So yeah, its dodge still isn't the best, and also it's 2 KCs for non-members. So yeah, and its DPS is only meant for farming, not for soloing at all. That's pretty much it for cons. Alright then, my final verdict about Heroic Naval Commander buffed is that Heroic Naval Commander has really become a great, dodge, farming, and support class. They increase its base dodge, they increase its farming capabilities to now you could say that this class is probably a top 10 farmer in the game, and a pretty good support option too for 7-player lobbies. I recommend getting this class, if you have the 2 KCs and you've already joined the Undead Legion, if you really need like a pretty good farming class. Alright then, that's pretty much been it for the buffed Naval Commander overview. Make sure to like, subscribe, roll to 400, and yeah, hi guys, out.